about a year since I posted, so here we are. Yeah, so this is just kind of a little, hey guys, I'm back video. I don't really necessarily have a whole lot of updates that I want to share today. I just kind of wanted to make a video to let you guys know that I'm back, and that I am going to break down into segments over the next few weeks probably, and let you know different things about different things through my life that have happened over the last year, because obviously some big things have happened since I pretty much just ghosted everybody on the planet for a good year or so. But first things first, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here and tuning in today. It really means a lot to me, especially after I haven't posted in pretty much exactly 1 year. The other thing is, if you are here and you're finding me for the first time, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to look back and actually watch content that I made before, because I had a lot of knitting content that was really awesome, and went through a lot of different patterns. Particularly Caitlin Hunter and Andrea Mowry were kind of my favorite designers to knit patterns from. There we go. But as far as what we're going to talk about today, so first off, obviously I have a nude puppy, so that's a thing. Last time I posted a video, Bella, the video recorded to post that you guys actually saw on February 7th of last year, it was telling you, oh, I feel like Bella's getting better. I ordered her a wheelchair and all of these things. Well, she actually ended up passing away on February 7th at 6:40 p.m. So of 2019. And that video went up about 3 o'clock on February 7th. So she actually died a few hours after. So whenever I recorded it, I typically was recording about 2 weeks in advance. And whenever I recorded it, she really was, I felt like making progress to get better, and then it just went downhill pretty rapidly from about the 4th until the 7th. It was just she was kind of doing not that great, but kind of a little bit, maybe a little bit better, but then it was just took a nosedive for the worst. So that happened. And then basically I didn't knit from about the 2 days before she died until November of 2019. So I didn't even pick up my knitting at all. There were a few reasons for that, but basically it just, all the depression stuff that had been building in my life over the previous probably year and a half, maybe 2 years, just hit me like a ton of bricks whenever that happened. And basically I just couldn't anymore with anything, with all of life basically. So that happened. And then Oscar passed away as well. As you guys know, if you've been a viewer before, he had cancer, he had liver cancer, and so he passed away about 12 days after his 14th birthday, which he actually had a really good birthday, and I took him to the mountains to go hike and stuff. Hike for him wasn't exactly like a typical hike that you would do, but it was a hike for him, and he really enjoyed doing stuff like that. So I took him to go do that kind of in honor of his birthday. I think we actually went the day before his birthday, but then he got balloons and I made him a cake and we celebrated with some of his friends and stuff. So it was just a good birthday. It was a good way to kind of end things. And then he passed away. The day before he passed away, we actually went to a duck pond and he met ducks for the first time, and he was so proud of himself for meeting the ducks. So he had a really good end of life. So it was, of course, bittersweet because, gosh, you know they're not gonna live forever, but I really couldn't have asked for a better ending for him. So anyways, so that's kind of all the bad stuff we're gonna talk about today. And then this is my new puppy. So this is Farabee, and she is 9 months old, and I got her on July 3rd, 2019. So I got her 9 days after Oscar passed away, and she is a poodle. She's a standard poodle. And if you're interested in learning more about her, you can follow her on Instagram. Farabee Fable is who she is. And yeah, so we do a lot of fun dog stuff, and we've been really getting into the the doggy trick scene, and you know, she's gonna do agility and stuff. I think whenever she's a little bit older, she's not old enough to do it yet, but I think she'll enjoy that a lot. So Farabee is being task trained right now. She does have 2 tasks that she is already trained for, and one of them is for letting me know whenever I'm going to have a panic attack. She can sense that, and she knows what to do to get me to calm down and sit down, you know, somewhere safe. Safe for her typically means on the floor, which is totally different. Bella thought anywhere sitting was safe. Farabee thinks I need to be in the floor. So if I'm about to have a panic attack, she insists that I actually sit on the floor, which makes sense, right? So you don't fall out and get hurt. So that is what she is specializing in right now. And she is also learning deep pressure therapy. And she has both of these tasks down solid at home. So I'm really proud of that. She is learning how to not get distracted in public right now. She is only 9 months old, so for her to have those tasks under her belt at all is amazing, but you know, it would be ridiculous for me to expect that a 9-month-old would be able to do that in public reliably. So she is not at that point yet, but I still say she has task trained on 2 things because she's very reliable in our setting, which is really where we are most of the time, since I work from home and we're home most of the time. So there's those things. Obviously we'll get more into all of that in other videos. The other thing I want to tell you guys, I want to take my channel in a different direction than what it has been before. Before I was mainly, with the exception of Vlogtober, only posting knitting content, and that was pretty much the only thing we talk about. We rarely talked about life things. We rarely talked about anything else. Sometimes I would talk about a show I was watching or a book I was reading, but typically we kept it on the knitting spectrum. Now, with that being said, I am knitting again, so I do want to share that stuff with you guys. I am not cranking out sweaters like 13 a year like I was last year, or well, the year before last, 2018. So I don't know that it makes sense to only keep my content knitting for that reason, because I feel like whenever I was doing that, I was putting pressure on myself also to complete stuff, so I would have stuff to talk about to you guys. And I enjoy knitting. I love knitting so much. It is, you know, it is very comforting to me, and I really think it saved my life in a lot of ways. But I don't want it to be a chore, and I feel like maybe by incorporating other things into my channel, maybe that would allow me to still do what I love, which is knit for fun. And also, I love creating content. Like, I absolutely love documenting things and creating content. So I do want to create more for my channel, but I don't necessarily want it to only be knitting. I would like to discuss real life things that happen, some things that have happened in the past that I think are really important to highlight. As far as some abuse stuff that had happened, I really think it's important to share that type of stuff, things that were going on in my marriage that I know I hid very well, but I think personally for me, the only way that I even realized that there was something going on, other than I knew that I was having certain feelings, but the only way I had those feelings validated at all was by, number one, getting into therapy. That was awesome. But the other thing is, I learned the words from going to therapy of what the things were called that I was experiencing, and then I would go look them up. And I think it's super important that we share that kind of stuff with each other, without you having to know the words to look for, because I guarantee you, somebody watching this video is going through something similar to what I went through. And I just think it's super important to share that, because you may not even be aware that it actually is abuse. In your mind, you might be like, well, this isn't right, but maybe it's just me. And I just think it's super important to share. So I don't want to get into that today either. Like I said, I don't really want to deep dive into a lot today. I just kind of want to let you guys know that I'm back and I am filming content, and I am going to put some stuff out here for you guys soon. But for any of the things that I discuss abuse or anything like that, I will make sure I put trigger warnings, because it is a very touchy subject for a lot of people who've experienced things, and it can cause you to have, you know, feelings and emotions that you may not just want to randomly fill, unless you're prepared, or maybe you don't want to fill that at all. So I'll make sure that I, include that kind of stuff before I start talking about things. But that's something I want to highlight on my channel. I don't want it to be just like the sad channel though, where we're only talking about like bad stuff that's happened. It's just unfortunately a lot of what's happened to me over the last year since you guys saw me last literally has been just a shitstorm, and there's no other way to put it. I mean, there was a lot of bad, and I do want to talk about that because I think it's important, but I also really want to highlight where I am now, which is a very good place, and I'm happier now than I've been in so many years. And I didn't realize how unhappy I was before, and like how bad things had gotten, because it had just gradually bogged down and just built up, and it had just gotten really bad, and I didn't realize until it all hit the fan, basically. So like I said, I do want to create content around that, but I also want to highlight the happy things. So I'm a very positive person, so this channel will be, mostly positive things, but occasionally real life happens and we have to talk about some not great things too. But with all of that being said, I'm in a totally different place in my life, physically, mentally, every possible way. I mean, I'm not in the same house, I'm not in the same city, I'm not in the same anything at all. So I don't have the same family. It's like just weird. The only thing that's basically the same is probably my look, I guess. I haven't changed anything drastically with how I look, but other than that, like everything else is different. So same shell, different everything. So yeah, but I am gonna tell you guys what I'm knitting really quickly because, we're here. So it's living in my Fill-In Superfine bag that I got from Knit Picks many, many years ago. And this is, I think it's called Isklad, it's ISKLAD, and it's a Caitlin Hunter pattern. And I'm knitting it in this Mountain Merino that I got from Madtosh many years ago. I don't remember the colorway. They don't have ball bands because I had knitted them into something else. She wants yarn really bad. And I've not made a ton of progress on it, but this is what I have. I'm doing this one hand, I'm doing this with a dog on my lap, so I can't really show too much, but it's basically a V-neck pullover sweater, and it has cables down it's raglan shaping, so it has cables down the raglan shaping on the front and the back, and it's V-neck. I am making the smallest size in theory, because it's supposed to be quite a bit of positive ease. It's supposed to be, the smallest one I think is 40 inches around the bust, and I typically need like a 34. And I didn't swatch or anything, I just went for it. It calls for you to do fingering weight held with mohair. So it's a fingering weight and a lace weight together, and yeah, it's that. And then like I said, there's a lot of positive ease. But what I did, this merino, Mountain Merino, whatever it's called, the yarn I'm using is thick and thin. So I just didn't swatch or anything. I used the needle size that the pattern called for, and I'm just going with it because no matter what, it's gonna fit. There's no way it's that much off. But the reason I said I'm making the smallest size in theory is because they want you to, or she, I don't know why I'm saying they, she wanted you to start connect it so that the V-neck stops at a certain height. But what I'm doing is I want my V-neck to be lower, not like super low. I'm not really into low neck stuff, as you guys probably have noticed through my years of posting stuff, but I wouldn't mind it going to maybe like here. And from what I can tell by the people who've made the smallest one, it looks like it stops around here. So I'm going a little bit further on that, and then I'm just gonna kind of adjust it basically in other places so that everything else just kind of fits right. If I feel like it's too big because of doing that, I might put some decreases right underneath where we separate for the arms possibly, but I don't know. I'm kind of building it as I go, and if you're familiar, if you're not brand new, then I usually heavily alter my sweaters, and like there's a lot of alterations going on. So yeah, that's basically the only thing I'm working on that's new. I have put a few squares into my scrappy sock yarn blanket. Like I said, I started knitting again in November, so there's a few things that I've made. I made some mitts, I made a cowl, I made a hat. I picked up those socks that were the Hawthorne socks in the Fremont colorway. I think they're Hearts and Flower socks from Wendy, whatever her name is, I can't remember. The lady I like to knit socks from, I can't think of her name, but anyway, I picked up that. I was being a total yarn snob about that yarn. I was like, it's too rough, but now that I haven't knit for so long, it doesn't feel rough. Same thing with the Mountain Merino, whatever it's called. Before, I remember saying, it's just not for me because of it had like, it's very natural. But now that I've not knit for a year, pretty much, I'm like, oh, I like this a lot. I didn't ever knit anymore on that sweater, the neon sweater, which was the last episode I posted. I think I put a little bit of work into it after you guys saw, but I stopped knitting on it like a day and a half or 2 days before Bella passed away, because she was in the hospital that whole entire day before she passed away. And then the day before that, I felt like something was off. And so I was really not knitting as much, you know, kind of taking care of her. But that night that she came home from the hospital, the night before she passed away, I was like, ooh, no, you know, I basically couldn't get my mind off of just dealing with her. So yeah, that's basically my knitting update. I'll obviously bring stuff and show you guys whenever I do a full episode. Like I said, I just wanted to get some content out here while I'm feeling inspired and want to actually talk to you guys. And yeah, so we've been super active on Farabie's channel, on her Instagram. We post videos over on IGTV a lot. I let her do Vlogtober and stuff because I wasn't knitting, but like I said, I just have that like need to create video content for some reason and document things. So there is a lot of content if you're into dogs. It's not necessarily only poodle related by any means, it's just dog related stuff, because we went to some Halloween parties and did some stuff like that that was, you know, dog stuff. So if you're into dogs and Halloween costumes and dog events, then definitely check out her Instagram. I'll link it for you guys. But yeah, so I hope you guys are excited to hear about where I've been and what would make somebody go away for a year and all of the crap that has happened. And I hope you're excited to go on this new happy journey with me through my life as a single 36, soon to be 37-year-old woman, re-navigating the whole entire world of everything, because I basically was trapped in a box for a good 10, 15 years where I didn't do much. So I'm super excited to share what I'm up to and things that I'm discovering and just learning to live again. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like button so the YouTube algorithm picks me up again. That was super awesome. I appreciate that so much. And I don't know what my filming schedule will be quite yet. I'm gonna say bi-weekly just for now, just so that I'm not disappointing. But I do, like I said, I post a lot on Farabie's stuff if you're ever just wondering like what we're up to. Post a lot over there, and that's the other reason I'm not so sure that I'll post weekly here, because of, you know, I have her content to keep up with now too, because that's an added layer of things, because she is a doggy influencer in the doggy influencer space, and so we have to do brand deals and stuff for her a lot of times, where that takes up my time to edit and film and stuff. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you guys soon. Leave me a comment, let me know what you're knitting, let me know what you've been up to. Also, let me know if there's things you're interested in seeing me talk about specifically on my channel. Like I said, I know it's just gonna be a little bit different than what it was before. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys.